Hey guys, today I have another video for you from the Kurt and Tom Show. And first I want to start off as usual. I have some giveaways. Now we gave away all the other items, so if you haven't responded yet, don't respond to the previous one. We gave away those items, and I have a couple more items. First of all, I talked about this in one of the videos. I had a German company that did a magazine article about Hans Philipp. And these magazines came in. They are written in German. Hey, come take a look at these. First and foremost, this is the gun. I've talked about this so much that you guys don't want to hear about it anymore, but this was the presentation engraved Walther PP that he got for 100 shoot downs. And then this is the magazine article that they did. It actually just came in today, and I have 2 copies that I can give away. Again, they are written in German, but if this is something that you would like, I'm willing to give them away. Check out the photographs in here are just phenomenal. They look, the black and whites, the crest for Nuremberg. Actually, that must be his funeral there. I don't read German, but that must be his funeral. And there he is playing the accordion. Pretty cool stuff. But they did this whole magazine is on Hans Philipp and his career in the Luftwaffe. There's my gun. There it is. So if you would like a copy of this, again, just let us know. I like free stuff, and just say magazine on Hans Philipp. I have 2 that we will give away. I'm going to ask you to use the honor system. If you've already won something, then don't ask for any more free stuff. But if you haven't won anything, you feel free to say I like free stuff. Here's the second thing I got. Now, this is in English. The cover is just pretty much destroyed, but somebody sent me this. I don't want to throw it away. I'd rather give it away. But there's a little bit of everything in here. Lots of pictures, a lot of weapon systems, chain of command. And we even get into, there's tanks, there's machine guns, there's anti-aircraft, and topic for, oh, there's a duck. That's a German duck. We even have the grenade launcher that we're featuring in today's video. There is a grenade launcher. There we have some German artillery, and I mentioned the tanks already. They're putting up a bridge. So it is certainly worth a free giveaway. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And there's some uniforms. You guys just love this stuff, don't you? So if you want this, say I like free stuff, and mention the military book, the military handbook, we'll call it. So today's topic, also known as the topic du jour, is the K98 grenade launcher, rifle grenade launcher. Now, a little bit of history. I believe, you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an expert on this, but I did a little bit of reading. It seems like the Garand was the first one to come out with a grenade rifle launcher. It was the M7. You see here a GI using it, and they were used extensively in World War II and also in Korea. Of course, now they have grenade launchers, but it's an attachment at the bottom of your M16 rifle. Just for comparison, the average person can throw a grenade about 30 yards, and the grenade launcher attached to either the M1 Garand or to the K98 will actually launch a projectile, a grenade, about 200 to 250 yards. With pretty good accuracy, and Kurt's going to go over that a little bit. So that's a little bit of the background. This is the K98 that we're going to mount it on. But Kurt, tell us a little bit about the accessories that go into the grenade launcher.
Sure. This is a complete K98 rifle grenade launcher kit, we'll call it.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It's got everything you need all in one place. This all came from one collector, and I at first thought it was all reproduction. This stuff is too good to be true. But the closer I looked and the more I looked at it, the more amazed I was that this is almost like a time capsule. The nicest I've seen. These are reproductions of one of the projectiles. There's 2 different styles. There's this style here. This is an original one. You can see how the paint kind of has deteriorated. And then there's the other style. And I'm not quite sure
Yeah,
why.
so first you can see here that it's rifled. And when it goes in, it does spin. So that helps with the accuracy. The ones that look like this are actually anti-personnel. And what's in here is like a shotgun shell, so it has a bunch of pellets that explode outwards so that it goes around a radius. The goal is to wound or kill as many personnel as possible, so that's why anti-personnel. And by the way, today's modern armies have the same thing. One would be an anti-personnel mine or a grenade, again, to spread out in a circle and maim or kill as many as possible. Whereas this is a shaped charge. And just like the modern, what's cool, if you watch the news like I do, we hear a lot about the javelin, so that when this is launched, it goes up in the air and comes down on top of the tank. The shaped charge, instead of going out, the shaped charge explodes inward, so that what happens is it punctures the hole through the armor and then kills the personnel inside of the tank. The shaped charge is the same thing as the javelin, which goes up in the air, comes down on. It's designed to come down on top of the tank, penetrate the armor, and kill the personnel inside. Of course, the javelin is a lot more deadly, and this is a pretty. This is a pretty small projectile, but you can see how it's rifled, and again, that's for distance and accuracy.
Now, is this the switch here? I assume that's the switch. That's why that compresses?
Yeah, so that causes it to explode. This one's a little tough.
Yeah.
In fact, this one probably it barely moves. But yeah, when that hits, it explodes the charge, but the metal is all designed to force the charge inward instead of outward.
Got it.
That's at least what the book says.
Yeah.
I actually never used one.
I wasn't sure. I'm glad you explained that. But moving on, the kit, I'll open it up. But first, so the case itself is incredible. The shoulder strap here, you can see it's clean on the interior. There's not really staining or molding or cracking on the leather. It's just beautiful leather. The stitching even on the strap here, the stitching we talked in a previous video about one of the things we look for on leather to make sure the stitching is kind of congruent throughout. Also has that yellowish straw color. That's the perfect coloring we like to see. Also the spacing, a lot of repros will have the spacing off for the stitches. They'll be too close or too far apart, too thick of stitching. So you see it there, and then just throughout the rest of the cover, it's the same color and style throughout. Beautifully marked on the strap, your maker code, date, and a waffen proof.
Cool.
It's incredible how the ink is it's still there. This was immaculately preserved.
I assume unissued condition.
Yeah,
I would call it unissued condition.
It's 42, so we're getting towards the downward sloping portion of the war for the Germans. So I'm going to take this out piece by piece. What's that piece?
It's tightening something down.
It's a
I bet it's to take
tool.
the tube. It's an adjustment tool, or take the tube apart.
Trying to be careful here and not. It took 80 years for it to get here, and it can only take 15 minutes for me to ruin it. A couple years later, and you're still watching, and it's finally out. All right, so that's your main component.
By the way, I did one of my first videos. It was over a year ago. I did demonstrate how to attach this, but it's bringing back memories. It was so long ago.
The base of the main tube or attachment piece is maker stamped and waffen proof stamped. Beautifully marked and just, I know a lot of you guys watching are condition freaks. You'll find 100 of these before you'll see another one in this condition. That's my challenge to you.
Find another?
If you have one nicer, send me photos. I would love to see it.
I got to try this out. I'm just guessing that this goes right there. Look at that. Figured it out. All right, so we figured out what that adjustment. So it is like a wrench. The slots fit right in here. Okay, go ahead. I was fascinated. Ooh.
So you unscrew this portion here, then you open it up, and I'm going to just be careful here to not mar the finish on either object. But it slides right on over. You can even keep the dust cover on. You slide it over, keep the muzzle aligned properly. Then you can close these two and tighten her down.
I'm going to show you the other side because what you need to see is this looks like it would get in the way. So it actually stays in front of that.
The cleaning rod.
Yeah, the cleaning rod. It's under the barrel but over the cleaning rod, and that's a tight fit. It really is pretty. Now this will
We have our
tighten
adjustment
down.
tool.
Yeah, that's when you tighten it down. Now, isn't there I think a lot of people, a lot of soldiers only used it this way, but there is a targeting device or a.
Yes, there's another attachment. The really cool part about this attachment is the original liquid or oil in the level is still present.
It has the bubble.
Yeah, in fact, I've seen it half empty or half full, depending how you look at it. But
Whether you're an optimist or a pessimist.
Exactly. I've seen them slightly drained. I've never seen one with quite an accurate looking bubble like this. This is probably exactly how it looked when it left the factory. Yeah, so now that I have it open and loosened, it goes just before the rear sight.
And I have to get the strap out of the way because that actually is a complication.
But that's a nice snug fit in there. You can see the groove of the rear sight fits around that nicely. And then we're, again, just tightening this bolt down.
Now, while you're doing that, I know Randy will come up with period photos. It'd be my theory that nobody bothered doing all this. They just stuck the grenade launcher on the front and they fired away. Couple reasons. I think this is a lot of work, and I'll show you the other reason that I don't think they use this very often. You don't find these very often, for one thing. You just push this button in and it rotates up and down. And the theory would be, and by the way, the butt is in the terrible spot for me firing this. But you would aim at, let's say I'm aiming at a tank right here. You can see how it elevates it, and I can look through the sight and go right to the tank, but it's going to shoot it up and over so it lands on top of the tank. So that would work really well, but here's the problem. Whenever I see somebody using it, I know reenactors use this a lot, I always see people firing it like this. And so it's really hard to aim like this. And the reason being, I would assume it has quite a kick. I think, it's just my theory, and you're welcome to comment, that people just kind of threw this away, which is why, by the way, you really never see it with the sight. But as Kurt pointed out, this is like in pristine condition. But the way it would then be used would be like this, and that would work. That works just fine. But I think the kick, well, I don't know. Some of you, maybe somebody out there has tried one. I never have. But if you look at period photos, most of the time, it's shot like this. In every squad, in the German and American armies, I'm sure the other armies as well, every squad, there was one person who was assigned to have this piece of equipment. And I would imagine they were just really good at it. And so if you're in a pitched battle and a tank is turning a corner coming right at me, I don't have time to mess around with it. I think once I practice a lot, I get really good at just aiming, kind of like a mortar, where you just get good at aiming and shooting. But like I said, there's only one guy in each squad that would be carrying this. Plus, it's heavy and very top heavy. So it automatically, when you hold it, it just automatically is hard to keep up. Right. And I'm a really strong guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. So how do you shoot this thing?
So these, although they look like they're toys and these look like dummy rounds, they are wood tipped and they're not lethal, but there is powder inside. I can hear it. But there's powder inside each one of these, and they are 42 dated on the casing. And these go down inside the rifle, and I'm not an expert. This is just what my research has found. I've never shot one of these, so I don't know for sure, but my understanding is you put one of these down inside the barrel with your
yeah, so we'll put that inside here, like that.
Like that. Then we have our dummy round or wood tipped round inside. When we shoot that off, that wood tip round is propelled to hit the primer on the projectile.
Yeah, hits a primer here. This comes apart, by the way, so there's a separate charge. No. There's a separate charge down inside here, which would explode when the piece of wood hits it here. This flies out. When this lands, that pressure ignites the powder here, and this one blows up. Again, this is anti-personnel. So there's two charges, one to expel the grenade, and the other, when it hits, blows up. So that's the way this was designed, and it evidently was a really good design. I'm not sure if the Garand works the same way. Again, one of our viewers can chime in and let us know.
I don't know if you'll be able to get this, but for our viewers, I have it right now adjusted to about 150 meters away. So this is what Tom was demonstrating, how the barrel is pointed at a higher angle than the sight itself, and you would be looking down, aiming through the side sight, while also lining up that bubble. That's the reason why we have the bubble. So we got to keep that between the red lines. So we got this nice and flat. I'm doing my best to keep it steady. So we see, keep the bubble between the red lines, keep it nice and level. That way, when we shoot it, it's going to go where we want it to go.
So Kurt, you have one more piece here.
Yep. Yeah, so this all comes in a nice carrying case. This is, I guess, a canvas material. This is a shoulder carrying case. You'd throw this over your shoulder is what I would do with it. And you can fit everything inside it. You can fit your special rounds, your wood tip rounds inside, your projectiles of various different situations.
And don't forget the adjustment tool.
Your adjustment tool and even the case.
Are these
I'd
marked
probably
on the
put that inside, but yeah, I was getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I couldn't find markings at first, but what do you know? Underneath there,
good. I feel relieved.
You have another 42. That's your Waffen stamp, but it's obviously coming out over time.
And Maker.
Maker, AYB. But still, I've never seen one. I've never seen it in this condition, and it came with this grenade launcher kit. So
okay, one more repro. Come on over and take a look at this, because this actually, again, this will be in German, and no, I can't give these away. But these are, somebody did a nice job making a copy, including the handwritten date in there of 43. So this is a copy of that. But it goes through the instructions, but what's important here is that you see all the components, and I just wanted to show you that. There's the adjustment tool. There's the pieces. There's also this, there's the sight that Kurt was talking about, and how that, oh, look at that, shows them how to hook it up. Probably should have read this first, but again, it's in German. There's the carrying case, as you described.
So it's a case within a case.
Yeah.
That's what confused me a little bit.
Yeah, this holds all the equipment, but it all goes in here and then goes over your shoulder. So again, this is the original manual. Now this is a little different. They show the bullets as just like a little, almost like a pellet that ignites it. But the wooden bullets will work as well. This looks like could be a wooden bullet, but these are just pellets, which would also work. And I like how they actually attach the charging bullet to the projectile, just so they don't get lost. Because without this doesn't do anything. So there's the anti-personnel with the bullet. This would be the anti-tank round or armored personnel, and this would be the personnel round. So that's and here's how to aim it in diagrams. So it's a cool little setup. Are you going to offer this for sale, or is this just show and tell?
I think I will sell it. I've been reluctant to do so, but
go find another one. Really, you can't.
At least I'll sleep well at night knowing it'll go to a good home.
One other clarification: the K98 did not come with this setup. I just pulled a random K98 off of out of our inventory. And by the way, just for your education, this one is a BNZ from 1943 BNZ, which is the Steyr factory. It's all matching and a really cool gun. So this is going on the site separately from all of the grenade launcher attachments. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and once again, you never know what you're going to find on this channel.
It's true.